I wanted to share with you 4 psychological elements you should include in your emails to make more sales. The first element I learned from Gary Halbert in the Boron Letters, and it's giving a reason why. Whenever you have a sale or a promotion, or even when you're selling anything, you should give a reason why you're selling it. That removes people's skepticism, and it doesn't cheapen your brand anymore if you're discounting something because you're giving a reason why you're doing it. For example, it could just be like, hey, I just got married and I'm so grateful for all your support all these years. So for the next week, I wanted to offer you X. Or if you're launching a new product, talk about how it came to be and why you created it and why you are releasing it now. On a separate note, if something happens in your life, use that as an opportunity to make sales. For example, even if you get a big bill that you weren't expecting, or something happens that you weren't expecting, use that as an opportunity to create a reason why to sell things. Whether it's making a sale or a promotion or a mini product launch, so to speak. But whatever you do, always give a reason why. Don't just say 50% off for the next week. That just creates distrust. The second element that you want to include is scarcity. We're all programmed to have a huge fear of loss. And when you have either a time limit or a quantity limit on whatever it is you're selling, people are much more likely to buy. For example, if you have a deadline of a certain date where either the price goes up or whatever you're selling is no longer available, that will make people take action. Or if you only have a certain number available, again, people want to jump on it. And if you really want to make it powerful, have both a certain number and a time limit, whichever ends first. And then along the way, give people updates and maybe even a last chance, like, hey, we only have a couple spots left. If you want to get in, this is your last chance. Something like that. 2 things with scarcity to keep in mind is when you do have scarcity, give a reason why for it. For example, if you have a certain number of spots only, say why you have a certain number of spots. If there is a deadline, say why that is the deadline. The third element you want to include in your emails in general when you're selling is anticipation. Don't just give people things and let people know about things, but let them know about things that are coming in the future. Think about it this way. When a huge blockbuster movie comes out, they don't just release it and tell you about it after. All the way up to maybe a year before, you're seeing previews for it and everyone's talking about it and you're getting more and more excited about it. And then finally when it comes out, that's when there's a line out the door just so people can be the first one to see it. Apple does this too every time they release an iPhone or a computer or whatever it is they're releasing. There's always some anticipation and speculation. Lucky for them, other people do it for them, but it's still a very powerful element they wouldn't trade for anything. So here are a couple ways you can incorporate this. One way is letting people know about what's coming and asking for advice or feedback. For example, you could say something like, hey, I'm finishing up X. It has X, Y, and Z in it, just talking a little bit about it. But before we go live, just wanted to get your thoughts, make sure it has everything in there that you want. Can you fill out this 1-question survey, or can you tell me what you're looking for in X? And then give people updates, maybe a week later or a few days later. Wow, I just got a ton of amazing feedback. Thank you so much. Here are the things we've added. It's now going to include X, Y, and Z. I'll give you some more updates as we get closer to releasing it. And then you could send something else about, hey, we're going to release it on XYZ date. So you see all these things, you're building anticipation before it happens. And then maybe even a little bit before, you give people a preview of it, whether it's a trailer you make for a movie or if it's something they can experience online, you give them a little taste of it. So you're building anticipation beforehand so that when you finally do release it, you create a buying frenzy. And the fourth element, which is really tied to the last one, is creating product launches. When you're releasing something new, you want to have a specific start date and a specific end date where it's available. And even if it's always available, at least have a specific start date and end date where there's some bonus it comes with or some special price or something. Have an official launch where you're building anticipation, you have a day where it's released, and so forth. So this is something that Jeff Walker really popularized. He's known as the creator of the online product launch. And many people have even taken this and just created it into an automated system that's automatically doing it for them and creating the illusion of it being a product launch for whenever somebody signs up. I recommend you sign up for his email list as well, just so you see how he does that. Anyway, keep these elements in mind when you're looking to sell things. I think you'll see that they really will turbocharge your success.